Just over 40 ounces in one bucket. That is crazy. Hello everyone, I'm CrypticFox, and welcome back to our mine here on Gold Rush. It's a rainy day in, well, it's just outside of Haines, Alaska, I guess. Was that thunder, or was that the machine rocking away? I think about it in thunder. Nevertheless, we've been doing some digging in between videos to try to earn a little bit more money. There's a fair amount we've gotten dug out here. Now, it takes quite a bit to move this much dirt, surprisingly. Now, when you run in here to grab a scoop of dirt, like, it doesn't look like much until you get right down next to it. Then you can see how deep in we are. It's a fairly deep cut. And as you can see, it goes deeper still, because you can clip through the dirt. So there's a big flat area down there that we haven't even gotten to yet. But as we dig out there, there's going to be a sheer, I don't even know what to call it, like a ton. I would say a ton, but it's got to be more than tons of gold in this dirt out here because there's so much pay dirt. Nevertheless, I just put in the last scoop for another clean out. We have the mats at 100%. Oh, one of them's only at 97%. What a gym. I'm going to shut everything off. We're going to clean out the machine again. I have 105 ounces of gold on me now, but I also have a whole bunch of buckets full of gold concentrate in the back of the pickup truck already. I've already done a number of different cleanouts. Well, actually, well, one of the cleanouts. So I cleaned out the buckets underneath the duplex jig. You can empty fairly regularly. I think it's like every 10 scoops or so, you can pull those out, and you get a nice bucket of gold out of those. And I think that's probably where we make the most amount, I would think. I don't know. I'm not positive whether the miner's moss is going to give us more, or the stuff from the duplex jig will. But we'll find out. Get all these in here. Now, the miner's moss, you don't even have to run through... Nope, come on. There you go. We don't even have to run it through the magnetite separator. But I have 1.5 buckets full of it so far, of the concentrate from cleaning out the miner's moss. We're going to clean out the last of the other ones here, and then we'll get these buckets up to our... Now, this one spot is really bugged. I don't know what the deal is here. The mat always falls through. Anyway. We'll get these buckets up to our gold cleanout station and run them through our wash table, and we'll see what kind of money we can make off of this load. The last time we did a cleanout, I think we got somewhere in the neighborhood of... I probably should turn the engine off here. Somewhere in the neighborhood, I think it was like 80 or 90 ounces of gold out of it. So it's a pretty good clean out. Now, I actually have 13 buckets this time to run through our little gold cleaning station. So I'll be curious to see what we managed to get this time. Get all this turned on. It'll be super noisy here soon. All right, there we go. The three buckets I have at the back here, right by the tailgate of the truck, are the 3 that came from the miner's moss. So I'm going to run those through first. I want to see how much we get out of this, because I can't remember whether it was the duplex jig or the miner's moss that gave me the most gold. I think it was the miner's moss, but we started at 106 ounces when we started running the gold through here. We'll see how much we have after we get the 3 buckets from the miner's moss through here. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look how many ounces are in that one bucket. That is ridiculous. 40 ounces. Just over 40 ounces in one bucket. That is crazy. Bucket number 2's done. We're at 187 ounces of gold. 187 ounces. 2 buckets got me 81 ounces of gold. That is crazy. So we're on to bucket number 3 that we got out of the miner's moss. Now this one might be a little bit lighter because I think one of the mounts only was at like 97%, which is... pretty close to being maxed out, but not quite there. 204, 208, 209, 210. It's still going up. It's crazy. 221. 223 ounces of gold. So after 3 buckets, we got 117 ounces of gold in just 3 buckets of gold concentrate. That is crazy to me. All right, I'm going to run these other buckets through our magnetite separator, and then we'll get them through the wash table also, just so we can see how much we have. So we started at 106. Let's see what we end up with at the end of this cleanup, because I think it's going to be just one crazy massive number. Not that's the last of our gold through the wash table, all 13 buckets of it. I ended up actually skipping the magnetite separator because I decided it was really giving me really tiny amounts of magnetite anyway. And in the end, it's kind of a pain to drive drive that trailer all the way back to that factory to dump it off, just for the sake of, I mean, $10,000 is maybe nothing to smirk at, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm drawing in so much gold that it just makes more money to focus on the gold and forget the magnetite. So our gold count is at 263 ounces. That's a big cleanup. That is by far the biggest cleanup I've had to date. So that if I take out the 106 that we started with, that leaves me with 157 ounces of gold in that one cleanup. 157 ounces. That's a pretty serious amount of gold. Now, the funny thing is, like, 120 of that came just from those 3 buckets of the miner's moss. So clearly the miner's moss is producing gold at a much greater concentration anyway than the buckets from the duplex jig. But I guess that makes sense because you can empty out the buckets from the duplex jig like twice before you get to the point of having to empty the miner's moss. Still very cool. So if I say there was maybe 2 ounces of gold that were produced by the 10 employees that we have continuing to mine during the time when I was doing the cleanup, that would give us a clean out of about 155 ounces in a single clean out. It's pretty sweet. This calls for a trip to town. I'm gonna melt this gold down into a single bar. We'll take that off to the bank and sell it, see how much cash we end up with, and we most definitely will have enough money to buy the new conveyor belt system. I'm not sure if I'll have enough to also get the dump truck, but we'll see. Theoretically, I could also pay off the loan, and then we'd be in the black for the first time in terms of operation costs, but I kind of want that new equipment, and I don't want to just hang out and do more digging to try to get it. So it seems like as long as the gold continues to work this way, I mean, if we do a couple more cleanouts, we'll have that whole loan paid off. We'll be well in the black, and profit-wise, we'll have all the equipment that we have in the game that we can get so far, and everything from there will just be like pure profit. Okay, we're back at the blacksmith shop. Let's melt this bar down and see where we get. We'll melt this pile of gold down into a bar anyway. So we always lose a little bit of gold when we melt down, but let's see. Wow, we're going to lose 23 ounces of gold. Wow, that seems like a fairly substantial amount. But I guess, I mean, we're melting down a pretty big pile of gold, so I guess it's a fairly hefty bar, although funny enough, it looks the same size as every other bar we've ever had. Let's get this off to the bank. We'll get it sold. See how much we have. Now, I can't even remember how much I was going to owe on the loan. I think it was like $350,000 or something, maybe. Oops. Sorry, buddy. Smacked your car a little bit. You're a blacksmith. You can just start hammering out. Yeah, I think the loan payback was $350,000. We'll find out here in a moment. Let's see. Loans. $318,000. So not quite as much as I thought. I mean, loan interest at 10% is fairly hefty for this current climate anyway. 2% seems, 2 to 3% seems more like current measures, but whatever. So we're paying like $5,500 a day for this. So I could pay off the loan and save that $5,500 a day, but I think we want more equipment. I feel like we need more equipment. $289,600. If we sell that, I guess it's a $322,176. So I have basically just enough to pay off the loan if I wanted to do that. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go shopping. We still have this loan. I could technically... I mean, I could pay off the loan and then take out a smaller loan that has a smaller daily charge. But one way or another, we're going to pay this bonus amount. I didn't take out $318,000, but if I pay it back, it's going to cost me $318,000. So I'd actually end up falling farther behind in the money. So I'm just going to take the cash. We'll go shopping with the cash. And then we'll do some more digging, run some more gold through the plant to get the gold that we need to pay off the loan, and then we'll be operating in the black for the first time. We'll have 2 fully owned claims, all the equipment that we need, and pure profit running. I think with this amount of money, we should have enough to get everything. So we might as well just grab it all now. So we're gonna get the conveyor belt and the the conveyor belt and the hopper. These are my first priorities. Should be interesting to see what this is like. So 15,000 for this. I'm gonna grab one of these, and then conveyor belt's 120,000. We'll get one of those. So that's like 135,000. Oh, we'll have tons of cash. And then 148,000 for this. Wow. Okay, so we're kind of pretty close to 300,000, I guess. One dump truck. Plus, we have to pay to ship all these things over to the claim. So, you know, I guess it's going to cost us a fair amount. But all right, so 15,120, 148. Wow, $283,000. Sure adds up. I want to ring the bell. There's gonna put a bell right here, but I can't click on it. Or can I? Nope, I can't. All right, transports. So we're gonna need to send these over. So we don't want the old armor parts. We want the storage. Send all this over. Conveyor belts, dump truck. $6,500 is going to cost us. So we've got those shipped over to the new claim. That leaves us with pretty close to the same amount of money I had before I did all my cleaning and selling and everything. $32,000. Operating cost out of that will be $5,500 a day for the loan, like another $1,700 a day for employees, which again isn't bad for 10 employees. They're definitely pulling in far more in gold than they're costing me in hourly wages, so that's good. So we have enough to operate, say, for, I don't know, 5 days or so. And in 5 days, we can get a really serious amount of gold. Like, just crazy amounts. But we'll go back to the claim. Oops, I didn't mean to go to the truck. We'll go back to the claim. We'll need to hook up the cables to the big excavator and get these new pieces of equipment into place. And I don't think we're going to use the dump truck right away because the dirt's already so close to the plant. But as we dig farther into the claim, it'll become much more useful for us to use the dump truck to haul the dirt back to the plant. All right, we're back. Our equipment is sitting over there. I'm going to need to bring over the cables. I probably should have brought the pickup truck. I'm going to grab one of these tow cables. Now, I think I only have 3 of them. I had a 4th one, and I don't know where it went, which isn't really necessarily the best thing. Because with only 3 of them, if one of the cables happens to break, then we're not going to be able to move this stuff. So I have to be a little bit careful with this. But I'm going to grab the 3 cables. We'll get these strapped onto the bucket on our excavator, and then we'll be in a position to move the new conveyor pieces into place. All right, we got all our cables hooked up, and a new day is dawned here on the claim. Now, it was starting to get pretty dark, so I decided to advance the timeline a little bit. Shifted it into daytime. The workers that I hired apparently continue to work even through the night, which is kind of cool. Didn't realize I was paying them 24 hours a day, because each of them has like a certain number of hours it says that they're going to work. And I'm not entirely sure how that works, because I seem to get some pretty decent amount of work out of them. I'm not sure what the deal is exactly, but they put more than 8 ounces of gold in the box just overnight. We only just sold all of our gold, so we got that's a pretty good progression, I think. Approaching 8.5 ounces. All right, so here's our conveyor. This is going to take some more. Oh, you know what? Both of these require power, and I think I only have 1 cable left, which is going to be a problem. I'm going to have to drive all the way back to town to get electrical cables for this thing in order to make it work. Let's put the conveyor in first, maybe. I'm trying to figure out where we even hook the chains on this thing. Let's bring the bucket down a little bit if I can. Nope. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to rough up this nice, fancy... Oh, I've got it all hooked up weird. Whatever. Just rough up this brand new piece of machinery I have. It only costs us a small fortune. Let's just mess it up. That seems like the appropriate thing to do. The cables are actually stuck inside of it. There's one there. Where can I hook this one? There we go. Okay, let's bring this around here. We'll hook it on this side. I'm going to try and bring this thing in sideways if we can. Rope is too short. Oh, don't give me that. Don't give me that. You're going to have to reposition the bucket a little bit. Oh, yeah, I've got this thing all just right messed up now. I can pick it up just with it. Yeah, all right, there we go. Who needs to snap the cables on? Oh, there it goes. Oh, all right, I guess I do have to put them on. Well, doesn't that just stink? Okay, with the way this is positioned now, I'm actually going to have a hard time putting it into place. So I'm going to come maybe back around the other side of it. See if we can just put it in, like, straight-ended. Because I think the conveyor belt just goes straight on the end. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to see. Yeah, I think I have this position now in a way that we can actually get these fancy metal rope things hooked up. Now here's going to be a problem. Oh, I can climb the conveyor a little bit. Okay, that's good. All right, so we have this back one is going to have to clip down to here. Okay, that reaches. That's good. This one is inside the machine. I don't know. I can hook on there. So drop that down. This one's actually running through the inside of the machine. Actually, both of these are, so I can't see them at the moment. A little buggy that way. I mean, the ropes are just a little bit funny the way they work. That's okay, though. Okay, so this one is going to have to go to back here. Hopefully this will reach. I don't know if it will. It's going to tell me the rope's too short. Ooh, it hooked. Nice. Okay, this one is the front, I think. Yeah. And then we have this last one over here. Just hook onto this side. Perfect. All right, this might be a bit of an awkward lift, but we should be able to get it into place with the excavator. And we got a nice big glowing marker where we have to put it too. It's just nice and handy. All right, got the digging controls on, so let's move this up just a little bit. Oh my gosh, this is kind of a close lift. There we go. Okay. Plenty of clearance. If these cables are any longer, this would actually be even harder to lift up. It's funny because it... Oh, swing it over just a little bit. There we go. So you can get longer cables, but I mean, if you had them on here, just... I don't think you'd even be able to do this. It'd be dragging on the ground the whole way. It's a pretty close lift. Now, there's no crane in this game, so you're basically just using your excavator to act as a crane all the time. I wonder if at some point in the future they'll end up adding one in. I mean, it would probably be a waste of money at this point because you can clearly do it with the excavator, but... There are a bunch of pieces of equipment still in the shop that they have covered over its harps that are, I think they're supposed to be adding at a later point. I'm not sure what the update timeline is supposed to be like for the game, but they did a couple of updates after the game came out. It's been a little while since they added in the dump truck and conveyor belt system. Curious to see what else they'll add. There's still another claim on the map too that's all locked up. So maybe at some point they'll end up adding that in, which would be neat. I don't smoke my big fuel tank there. That's a good idea. See if we can make that thing go kaboom. Come on, there we go. Nice. Okay, so that's in place. Our little hopper system goes right on the end here, so we'll actually be dumping in the same direction we were to dump in the side of the wash plant. But I'm curious to see whether it'll be faster and easier to dump in the little hopper. It probably won't be so much with the front end, like with the front end loader, but certainly with the dump truck it will be. Okay, we have the conveyor placed. Now we got the feeder hopper situation here. We got this down into place. Nice. That was really easy. This is probably the easiest equipment setup in here anyway. Setting up the tier 3 wash plant had a lot more pieces to move, but now that that's all done, we're going to have to get it hooked up with power. It doesn't look like we need water, which is good. Doesn't use any of that still until it gets to the wash plant, which is perfect. But I think I only have one large cable left, which means I might be stuck having to drive back to town to get an electrical cable. Just not super thrilled about. It's kind of a long trip. Alright, here's the one electric cable that I had left. So we'll stick this on here. This one can go to the conveyor, I guess. And then we're going to need one for this hopper system. I'm not sure exactly what it needs power for, unless maybe this like flap here... I don't even know. Oh, it's got a little conveyor belt system inside here. I get it. So it's actually a kind of a weird setup because it doesn't look like there's any way for the material to get out, but I guess it's supposed to go underneath the edge of this as a control mechanism? I don't know. So we need one more wire, and I don't have it, which means I have to make another trip back to town. Oh, actually, we'll double check over here. I did put some hoses and stuff over by our cleanup station, but I might have put a wire here. I don't know. No, the only wires I had were small wires. And I need a fatty. Well, doesn't that just stink? Back from another trip out to town. We got the electric cable we needed. I also got an extra one just in case we happen to need a little bit more cabling. And I decided also to get these working lights. So what I've been finding is that I often end up trying to work at night. And the lighting kind of stinks. And how am I going to get this to stand up straight? Well, that's not what I want. I find myself working at night a lot, and it gets pretty dark. So I think it would be kind of handy to have a little bit of lighting option here. So we'll plug this in here. So this will give us a little light at our gold cleanup station, which will work well. As long as I don't trip on that cord, which for some reason is hanging way out in space there. And then the other one I'm going to put down here, right near where we have to dump the dirt in, so that I have good visibility there. Because I figure that that's probably the place where you don't really want to mess up too much. Oops, no, come on. So I'll just plug in here. And then we'll just have to drop the cable because we got to go get the light. And then we'll need the one electrical cable in order to hook up that other, like the hopper feeder thingy. Maybe we'll do that first. So it's got to go in here and then into a spot on our big power plant. There we go. Conveyor belt container. Sure. It's a feeder. That's what it is. Whatever. Now, where did my other light go? I had 2 lights. Oh, there's the other one. It fell on the ground somehow. Okay, so this one, I can't even see. I can't see the top of it, so it's hard to tell where it's going to be aiming. When I pick it up, it turns a little bit, which is kind of a nuisance. A little hard to like put it down and aim at the place you want it to be if it's going to turn, but let's get it over here, I think. Like so-ish. I think that'll kind of give me the light that I need. I'm not really going to be able to tell until nighttime. We'll find out soon enough, I guess. As long as it's not in the way of driving my truck through here too much, which it might be. Which makes me think maybe I should pick this up and move it just a little bit. Bring it a little bit closer. And don't... No, come on. It's on the side of a little bit of a hill, so I don't know that I can even... There we go. Alright, that'll have to do. Hopefully it has a good spread on the light. That gives me room to drive through also. Okay, let's get this all fired up. I want to see how this this whole conveyor system will work. We've got lots of stuff in here. Now, we're not going to need to turn it all on, so I don't care about the work light so much, but we'll put on the duplex jig. We're going to need the shaker, the trommel, the conveyor belt, the conveyor belt container. And that'll give us the entire works. And we actually did also have someone else that wanted to become an employee, too, that I got a notice of. I should probably do that before I forget. So if we go in here, I'm kind of wasting a little bit of gas, but that's okay. So workers, we have one option waiting. Oh, there's 2 waiting. That's interesting. He's 37%, he's 39%. Not that one of these are all that great. I wonder if I can I send people to... Oh, Pine Valley. I already have somebody at Pine Valley on the front-end loader, so obviously I'm not going to... Big excavator. Oh, we can use the excavator too. The shaker. Oh, really? There's 3 different things they could be on. Front-end loader. Okay. So I have 2 more items I can put people to work on at the Pine Valley thing. So I guess I might as well hire both of these guys. I don't really like their rating at 37 and 39%, but they'll probably still make more money than they're costing me. So, you know, it's not really that big a deal. So let's put him on Pine Valley on the big excavator. And this guy can go on to Pine Valley on the shaker, although that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. There's not really a lot of operation requirement there, unless he's just there to kind of make sure it keeps going. Shovel away the rocks and dirt that might kind of clog it up and stuff. Whatever. As long as they pay me, or well, pay me, like earn money for me anyway. I think we'll be good. So let's try out this new conveyor system. Let's jump into our excavator again. Not our excavator, the front end loader here. Oh, look at the conveyor going. Nice. Okay. I did not mean to hit that button. Break off. Okay, now I got into a pretty good rhythm digging dirt for, like, to dump straight into the plant. So we'll have to... Oh, we got the headlights on? No. So we'll have to try to figure out a good pattern to do for the for that new conveyor system too. But it shouldn't take too long. Just ram it right in there. This thing seems to get the best amount of dirt when you can really get a little bit of momentum and smack into the dirt pile. Man, I'm spinning my tires here. Oh, there we go. What? Now, why would you have a front end loader that the differential lock isn't on as a default? I don't understand that. You know, I guess you're just using your front end loader to work on asphalt, which, you know, seems perfectly reasonable. Okay, so let's drive this in. Oop. Gotta get used to the direction here. So then give that a quick dump. Oh, easy peasy. It is slightly easier to dump there than it is to dump into the actual wash plant. Not a lot easier, but it's a little bit. Where I think that's going to become much more useful is when we start to get a little bit farther out into the claim, and I want to use the dump truck to haul payback instead of driving all the way back with the tractor, which would be slower because the front of the loader is really not very quick. Then we can instead use the front end loader to load up the dump truck, and then possibly even the big excavator to load up the dump truck, depending on, I guess, what it looks like. And then we can haul the dump truck back here, and it can dump straight into this little conveyor feeder here. It'll make some good coin. Oh yeah, that's easy. Nice. All right, so we got our full tier 3 setup finally with all the pieces that we need. We're gonna make some really good cash over the next little while, and my fuel tank's empty. I think that's a sign. It's time maybe to call it a wrap for today. Now that we have this nice, decent setup going, I'm gonna continue to put some dirt in the box once we refuel everything here, and we'll try to make some more cash. We'll get back into the black, and we'll have a good, profitable mining operation. Until next time, though, I'm as always CrypticFox. I'll see all of you next time.